Hey, what's going on? It's Jorge Cuervo. Make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing to this channel so you won't miss another. And I fucked up. Hey, what's going on? No. Fuck. Hey, everyone. It's Jorge Cuervo. Make sure you smack that notification bell so you're up to date with everything that we do. Party nerds, go.
You're listening to PartyNerdz Weekly.
Party nerds in the building, guys. Give it up. Oh my goodness. First of all, everybody, okay, Bravo just lost his damn mind. Real quick, I'm just about to introduce the guests. We got a special guest tonight, aside from Bravo, the bearded one, and the wizard grandmaster himself, James, and Jorge on the controls. Give it up for Samantha.
Samantha.
First of all, Samantha, I never knew you trained Jedi because you got Grogu right there on your back.
Oh, I do. I do.
Darnell, we're not conforming, man. His name's not Grogu. It's still Baby Yoda.
You know what?
It's Grogu. I like calling him the asset.
I'm not converting, okay? We don't call Santa Claus Saint Nick. He's Santa Claus, goddammit.
We changed that from Odin. He used to be Odin.
So let's get into the last episode, which, first of all, in your brain, when you saw the week before when they showed Ahsoka Tano, weren't you thinking, like, you can't beat this episode? Like, this episode was the greatest. Yeah. And then it's almost just like, because Dave Filoni directed the first one, Jon Favreau had to come and one-up his friend, like, oh, you want to see a good episode, huh? How about this? What did you guys think about the last episode?
Who's going first? Because I was about to say, look, for as little of amount of, like, clarity. For one, usually in a Mandalorian episode, they tend to go through a lot of traveling, and there's just like a whole bunch of worlds that are basically going. The setting was one spot. As soon as Mando flies in, that's literally where all this takes place.
Tython.
And it's preluding back to that past episode where Ahsoka Tano basically told him to take him to this rogue planet where they had to put Grogu on what is that? The Seeing Stone? What the hell is that?
So on Tython, there's the Seeing Stone, which is Tython itself is a very force-heavy planet. In Legends, it's actually where people first started learning the secrets of the Force.
So is this like First Republic type shit?
So this is the first time we're seeing it in canon, but it is a core world. So it's like right there around where Coruscant is, and like closer to the Galactic Center, which is a huge travel hyperspace travel area. So it's more like this is the first and only time we've seen it. So it's hard to say where they're going to go with it. If you're familiar with Star Wars Rebels, at one point the Bendu named the light side and the dark side Asha and Bagan, and those are actually Tython's moons.
So Samantha, let me ask you a question, because before Mandalorian, were you always a Star Wars fan, or did Mandalorian get you into Star Wars?
No. I've been a Star Wars fan since I'm very, very small.
I'm still very small.
Before it was very cool. But yeah, and I love everything pretty much. Like, I've watched the TV shows. That Rebels is one of my favorites. I can't decide if I like Clone Wars or Rebels better. I kind of struggle with that, but always been a Star Wars fan.
So now let me ask you then. So in this episode, being a long time, and I guess I can bring this out to everyone, being a long time Star Wars fan, you remember when we were kids, we always had the little figurines and stuff like that, but Boba Fett was always that one character who was never, he was popular because fans made him popular. It's not because George Lucas wanted him to be popular. Yes, that is Slave One. So, and how he died in Return of the Jedi was almost kind of like a punk. Wouldn't y'all agree?
He didn't die, man.
Oh, sorry, I got to reprogram myself. I got to reprogram.
That is, like we said a couple podcasts ago, the 40-year-old fan theory of him in Return of the Jedi falling into that pit, and everybody assuming that he died. The fact that he actually showed himself in that first episode, like, should invigorate anybody to resume any type of fandom that they had in Star Wars if they lost any within the sequels that were happening, because that storyline has been on people's minds for that long.
Yeah, the George Lucas didn't know how popular Boba Fett was going to be. At first he was just going to be a special type of stormtrooper where his armor was all white. Then they decided to make him a little grittier and make him a bounty hunter. And then obviously later on we got the whole story with the clones. Mm-hmm. But even in the expanded universe, they had him survive the Sarlacc pit.
Wait, so did Boba Fett get really popular when the toys came out?
Let's just say this about him. His outfit was the coolest shit.
Right. Yeah, right.
It's kind of like in football, be like, oh, why do you like the Raiders? Because they wore black and silver. It was a cool
the guy had the uniform. Coolest design look. He had a jetpack. He had a wrist rocket.
He looked the coolest.
He was a silent badass. And
he was very mysterious. He didn't speak a lot.
No.
He was the only person that Darth Vader spoke to with some semblance of respect. No disintegration.
No incinerations. As you wish, my lord. Yeah, and the great part, another part about this episode is, or let me ask you a question, throw it out there. How do you think that they portrayed Boba Fett now in The Mandalorian? Do you think it connects smoothly to the episode 4, 5, and 6, so like how he was in A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, or do you think that they changed his character, or can you see this being Boba Fett in the future?
Well, you could say they changed the character because there's more dialogue. He didn't have a lot of dialogue. He was all action. Like, he was all about kicking some ass, being the bounty hunter that he is, capturing anybody that you need to get captured, and that was his quota. He made his dollars doing that.
Gotcha, bitch.
Exactly. I mean, so Samantha, let me ask you, like, so because you, as a kid, were you the girl that typically had all the Barbie dolls, and did you have Star Wars figures? Did you have?
No, I had Star Wars figures. I was all about Star Wars when I was young, and Marvel and all that stuff. I was, more on the tomboy side with toys.
So now, let me ask you: do you think that they portray, like, Boba Fett was straight up savage? Let's get to the point. He was savage as hell in this episode. Like, he wasn't like just kind of just shooting. He was bludgeoning. Like, literally, one stormtrooper was all twisted on the ground. Like, he was jacking him up.
Yeah, and let's just say, empathy for stormtroopers. Good God, man.
Yeah.
For how long? Since 1977, they've been getting their ass whooped like this.
Yeah, hard. Who trains these stormtroopers?
They're terrible. They're just terrible.
They don't know how to shoot. They continuously get beat up or stabbed, killed, maimed. You know what I'm saying? They're pretty much there for display for the Empire.
Yeah, their armor sucks too. Like, they always die.
Yo, right? Wait a minute. How come the stormtroopers, like, you got the Empire, which should have a lot of money? Remember, based on the old sort of Palpatine taking over, they get the worst. Like, they might well be wearing tank tops.
You want the actual answer? I know the actual answer.
Okay, nerd, go ahead.
Are you going to say it is future Tupperware outfits that they're wearing?
No, so their armor actually does protect somewhat against blaster bolts. It won't incinerate the flesh. The problem is it does superheat, and it can cause some shrapnel. They go with the cheapest because with stormtroopers versus clone troopers, stormtroopers were meant more to just incite fear and overwhelm with the numbers, much like how the droid army was more about a battle of attrition. So with stormtroopers, it was, hey, they don't need to be outfitted with the most because they're going to overwhelm everyone.
Layman's terms, plastic.
Because, I mean, Mando, he got, what do you call the metal he has on him?
That car.
They couldn't even penetrate him. It's just like, you know what? Stormtroopers would be tough if you could actually get them protected. But this episode, they were like rag dolls. I was almost embarrassed for them. It was pretty bad.
No, I like, it's definitely just to overwhelm people with numbers because there's so many of them. And like in the Clone Wars, I feel like it was very different. Like, they had more skill, they had better armor, but this is just to like overwhelm you because you have to come at all of them, and it's just strength in numbers. That's all it really is with them.
Now, another thing about this episode too, which I really liked, and I don't know if you guys agree, but it actually, like some episodes of Mandalorian, you have to remind yourself as part of the Star Wars universe, you saw the stormtroopers, you saw the Slave One ship in the air. So you saw all of your childhood triggers on the screen. And so didn't that, like, how did you feel watching it when you saw these things?
Overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed. It was a lot. It was too many things happening at one time. But as soon as you see Slave One, you're like, oh my God, it's happening. Like, what?
Bravo, what did you do when you saw Slave One?
I screamed, "What the fuck," in a very high-pitched manner that caused my fiance to look over at me and go, "Well, I guess that's important."
As far as nostalgia pieces go, I mean, shit. Now we really can sell some toys.
Well, and it's funny how Boba Fett really, he didn't fit the armor like he used to. I mean, he got a little older.
Armor in the beginning with the cloth and shit.
That's the thing. I love how like, people were pointing that out, and it's like, well, yeah, canonically, it's fucking 20 years later. Like,
I put on a little bit of weight, so you don't get the top of this outfit on. The bottom of it's gonna have to just like hang in the ship.
And now let's talk about Grogu. When he was remember, so and Ahsoka was saying in the last episode how if you put him on the stone or whatever, it will call in a Jedi or possibly a Sith. So is it kind of ironic that when Grogu was on there, that Moff Gideon's ship came? Do you think like that? Did his summoning work? Isn't that what the stone was for? Summoning someone to train him?
Place your bets, guys. Is it Jedi or Sith? He's gonna become bad or good?
But this is the thing. They put a tracking device on the Falcon.
I was just gonna say the tracking.
They said they have a tracking device.
Yeah, they had a tracking device on there, so that's why Moff is there. But the thing is, the call out could reach anywhere. So you obviously don't know who you're going to get in the next few episodes. And from what we're hearing, like the next 4 or 5 episodes, well, they're saying it'll be better than the entire Star Wars cinematic universe, which I am not going to say is far-fetched.
Well, here's the thing to remember. We have, as far as definites out there, we have Luke, we have Ahsoka, which I mean Ahsoka, she's already connected with him though. We have a possibility of Ezra Miller.
I hope so.
We have a possibility of Cal, although I've said this before. I think Cal is probably dead by this time.
That'd be dope as hell if it's Cal.
But who's going to play him?
You can find anybody.
Anyone.
But there's also the possibility, since they said that they're launching the Mace Windu series, for it to be Mace Windu.
Because we all know in Star Wars, just because you fall doesn't mean you're dead. Darth Maul, Palpatine.
Top 2 comes back. Who knows if it might be Darth Maul or we too
it
far
could even be. Well, no, Maul is dead by now.
Maul's dead.
Before episode 4.
Okay.
But there is a possibility of Mace was actually the one that saved him, because Mace was thrown out before Order 66 happened. So it could be a possibility of another connection. We still don't know who the volunteer is. My working theory is that it's the Padawan that tried to frame Ahsoka for the bombing.
In Clone Wars.
Barriss, yes. Because we don't see her as an Inquisitor, and that would be my only guess as for a route, because we know she's not. We didn't get any confirmation that she's dead. She hates the Jedi, and she is powerful. So if she's not an unnamed Inquisitor that we haven't seen already, then she's going to be most likely the volunteer.
Ooh.
The other,
brother, you're getting Sam all excited. She's like, "Ooh, say more, bearded one."
The other thing that I really like that this episode put a major emphasis on with bringing Boba into Mando's services is that it's now that we've seen several different ways of Mandalorians, and we've seen the item that unites all of Mandalore. I think the series finale, not the season, the series finale is building up to the reunification and take back of Mandalore.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think you saw that with Bo-Katan, and basically how that was all going to derive and come back to full circus. Because it seems like she's on a bigger mission than a lot of people.
But I don't think it's going to be Bo-Katan. I think
I'm just saying, as far along as it's going to go, she's going to form some forces.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're pretty much in unification. If you remember season 1 when they all joined up to help him earlier in that.
He's got the best.
The word is out.
Spear, so now he has a weapon that he can fight the Darksaber with. Once he kills Moff Gideon, he'll be the rightful owner of that Darksaber.
I can't help but to think, like, what all of us talking. First of all, we all know that Hollywood, social media is not good at keeping secrets, because even us, if we can't be home to watch the premiere Mandalorian, you have to stay off of social media. Because someone is going to try to destroy your life. I say this because just imagine, I'm in the world of what if right now. What would you do hypothetically? Like you said, at the end of the episode, the last episode of the season, you see like almost a Jedi head down, and they turn around, and you actually see Sam Jackson, like you said, Bravo, as Mace Windu. What would the fan reaction be? Do you think everyone would lose their brain?
Yeah,
I feel
absolutely.
I think Mandalorian has garnered that respect, whereas like when we first heard about Emperor Palpatine for the last movie, we were all excited, but then like as time went on, we kind of started getting suspicious, and then we all know how that story ended. But I think that the Mandalorian, if they did show Mace Windu, the hype would continue all the way till the next season started, because we can afford them that trust.
Yeah. So like James, do you think at this point, like all the different characters, like Ahsoka, if they do get Sebastian Stan to be Luke Skywalker, do you think right now Disney's just thinking cash cow, because they could do so many more spinoffs at this point? You know what I mean? Like
at this point, I mean, they've had so many in development. Thank you, Slave One. Slave One just flew across the screen, everybody. All right, so
did you say Slavery One? I didn't say.
That's all, folks.
That Mace Windu show is in development. Obi-Wan, of course, is supposed
to James.
That could still be in development. And the thing is, who's to say that there isn't a Grogu series out there that could happen pretty soon?
Yeah.
Could you imagine a Grogu series? Motherfucker doesn't even speak any type of English.
It'll be a kid's show.
Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda. Floating in the pod, Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. Levitating a horn monster, Baby Yoda.
Pikachu?
So, like Samantha, like let me ask you a question. Like, where do you think this season's going? Like, what is the buildup? Obviously, now the new plot point is save Grogu. They got to find a way, and the fact that Mando and Boba Fett are working together is just like a marketing. They're going to be selling toys and stuff like that. Where do you see the season going now? Where do you think they're setting up?
I think they are definitely setting up for whoever he like was channeling. I don't know who it's going to be. I feel like from that point on, that's where we'll see where the show's going to go. Because if they do go the Ezra Bridger route, you're kind of like continuing Rebels. And I feel like they might not do that because there's supposedly supposed to be an Ahsoka spinoff, and that would make sense for her arc. So I honestly don't know where they're gonna go, and I think that's what I like about it too. Is it's not very predictable, and you're not really sure of which direction they're gonna take.
I just want to see Grand Admiral Thrawn. That's all.
Oh my god, me too. Oh my god, wait. Does anyone have fan casting for Grand Admiral Thrawn? Because I'm kind of torn. I don't know.
I actually want his voice actor to do it.
Me too. That's what I said. That's what I would.
Wait, who's the voice actor? Who is it?
What's his last name?
I can't tell you.
I can't think of it. Mickelson or something. Yes. Okay. Something Mickelson is his voice actor. I love the way Benedict Cumberbatch looks, but he needs the voice. It's very important.
Yo, do you guys think the Mandalorian will have like a Game of Thrones death? A death that of a main character?
They need that. That would actually put it over the top. That would be great if they did.
I think Boba Fett's going to die by the end of the
probably.
season.
Yeah, that'll be it.
You don't think Mando's going to die?
No, because they kill off every old Star Wars character that we love. Come on, man. Chewbacca's the only one living.
Or Grogu? He dies?
They better not kill Grogu. They just better not kill
Grogu. Samantha will go in a tirade like,
we're going to see a little Din right there instead of Boba Fett. This is going to be his ship. So Boba's going to die.
Boba's gonna.
So
die.
you think he's gonna die this season, or do you think they're gonna try to do like a spinoff with him? Because they can
I think
actually.
he'll die.
It'd be the season.
I think he'll
finale.
die by the season.
Yeah, by the end of the season.
That would be heartbreaking, dude. Like,
Would be
you
heartbreaking,
cannot
but
kill,
We
you
have to
can't
move
kill our
on.
childhood. Like,
with
that's
Star
our
Wars.
man.
We have to move on. It's Star Wars. Kill all the old people.
Now, genocide. Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, and so, I mean, at this point with the whole show, like my whole thing is, and like we mentioned this weeks before, is how Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, how they do such a good job of catching the essence of Star Wars. And yet again, with this episode, you see it. Like, what makes this series so good compared to like the past three movies? Like, what's the difference? What do they understand that like Rian Johnson and J.J. Abrams didn't understand? What do they get?
We've heard everybody's opinion. I want to hear yours on this.
You want to hear my
Samantha.
Okay. Oh, well, sorry, I gotta go. I thought I was important.
No, I feel like we're finally getting things like canonized that should have been for a long time, and a lot of people disregard the TV shows and stuff, and now we're finally seeing it, and things that we've asked for, and they've kind of given us things we haven't asked for in the new ones, but I'm not going to touch that. But yeah, I just feel like they're giving us what we want, what we deserve.
And because George Lucas really didn't have a creative say on this, but it's almost like they understand this more than George did, and he created it because they interviewed George. He was like, "Oh, I would have killed Ahsoka off." Like in his brain, he would have just.
As a matter of fact, General Grievous did do that, but nobody wants to talk about that.
Wait, what?
You don't remember General Grievous killing Ahsoka in the cinematic series?
No, when?
Yeah. From behind, man. Put the lightsaber to her back, shot right through her chest, killed her. But we don't want to talk about that.
I don't remember. We're gonna have to look into that. Bravo, is what he's saying legit?
I don't have to say anything.
So, but like I said, I really think, again, I would love it if they can actually branch the Mandalorian into movies. Like, do you guys want to see it? I mean, if movies end up existing without just streaming.
You're talking out your ass, bro.
Listen, the way the world's going right now, how all of the, that's another whole podcast. Everything is going to be streaming now. But let's say a big movie project, like in the future. I don't want anyone else to touch it aside from Favreau and Filoni at this point.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
The other thing to remember about series where it gives this added benefit is series nowadays, with the way that streaming is, they're just very long movies nowadays. Mm-hmm. They're not like the series like how we used to grow up, where like people really did plan for the commercials and plan for, oh, maybe we get canceled this week or anything. Now how they're making them is just very long movies. Mm-hmm. And I think there's a much greater impact on storytelling because of that. I think that, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni have created and really respected the material to the point of people like the fans that would be talking about this, building stories without too much of the crazy, like fanfic self-inserts that people would do.
No, and Rob, you make a good point about how like these series are like, even if you guys watch The Queen's Gambit, to me, that was a long movie. That was just but it was flawless as far as like the flow and everything. And like you said, I look at Mandalorian like this, just like an extended film, and maybe that is the way that things are going to happen now, which I'm fine with, you know what I mean? Because like it's weird. And I think, I hate to say it, I think Mandalorian could be the death of movie theaters, because now these people are realizing how much money and how good it can be to stream. So they're like, why should we put the stuff in the theaters? You know what I mean? Do you guys see this is actually turning?
They're turning all of the old Western films into one episode. That's what they're becoming.
That's all it is. And the pins are already dropping. Come on, man. Warner Brothers already basically bought into streaming just a couple days ago. So who knows exactly what's going to happen after the fact? You'll see Universal and Columbia come online. If they know that theaters aren't going to make the money that they used to make, it's all going to get thrown into streaming.
Merchandising.
Buy in. Crazy Ned style.
Spaceballs, that toilet paper. All right, guys. Well, look, thank you guys for coming on tonight. Samantha, thank you for being here. James, always respect. Bravo. Your beard. And Jorge at the controls. Guys, Party Nerds, we're looking forward to more Mandalorian this month, but y'all take it easy. Party Nerds.
Baby Yoda, floating in the pod.